Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vino Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupal Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Dandava Pranam Vaisnavas. Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudarshan Arnarya Madhurya Punashya Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shivashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padadrimitaika Hritni Chaitanya Leela Amrita Sahasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshavodikti Namine Ati Madhya Charitraya Svashritanam Chapaline Jiva Dukhe Sagartaya Shri Rama Premadayine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Niti वृषभालवीने दैताय कृपाभये कृष्ण सम्बन्ध विज्ञान दैवे ब्रह्मवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदान श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनकारिणे रूपानुगं विरुद्धापो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भाय सम्बुद्धे पदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगम्बरायते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्तो राधाकान्तो नमोस्तुते तप्तकञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतो पङ्गो मम मन्दं मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदं भुञ्जो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदं श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठानिधि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्त्र सरसारूढि त्वं श्रीमन्तततस्थितः कर्षन्ते स्वनैगोपि गोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तु नः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्तान्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिदं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्तवृन्द श्वेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावग्निनिर्वापनम् श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यामधुजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मसमनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् हरे नाम हरे नामेव Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sarma.
Page 28.
One second. Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupan Guru Varga ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai, Gaur Praman.
Hari Bol. Already started posting
Sorry. Thakura Vaishnavagana, Kori E Nivedana, page 43. Thakura Vaishnavagana. If you do not have a songbook, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, Dandava Pranam. Jiva Pavana Prabhu very kindly and mercifully posts the bhajan in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and there you will find the bhajan with its translation and so much accompanying nectar.
He's already started posting the nectar, people.
Jai.
Dandava Pranam.
Thakura Vaishnavagana, Kori E Nivedana, Thakura Vaishnavagana, सुनियाची साधु मुके बोले सर्वजन, पेज 51. Page 61, Nitai Gunamani Amar.
Keep looking for Jiva Pavana Prabhu. He's posting so much nectar and also all of the bhajans and kirtans that we're singing. So even though we're all over the world, we can join together in sweet kirtan.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Parama Karuna Ahu Dvijana Nitai Gaura Chandra. Page 84.
Narayan
To this thread. So if you have a moment in between breathing while you're singing, try to read some of them. It's incredible.
We're standing toward Madhava here, but it's difficult. I'm looking at an ashtakam. I like Navanirada Nindita Kanti Dharam.
Okay, page 295. Navanirada Nindita Kanti Dharam.
Kanti
Shri Braja Raja
Sutashtakam.
Navani Radha. Or Radha. Not Radha. 259. Are we ready?
295, not 259.
Oops, little dyslexic there. 295. wife. Thank God for Jiva Pavana Prabhu.
Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. As we were singing that bhajan, that ashtakam, I was remembering, as I was reading along with the meaning, how the process known as kirtan is the most powerful process. So through the medium of calling out the names of Krishna with a feeling of relationship, which these kirtans give, because they're glorifying His form, His names, His pastimes, and it is His names, it creates a kind of infatuation. Just how sweet and how beautiful when you read the translation. Glorifying Krishna. How attractive He is. It creates some movement in the heart. And I was remembering how when, I think Sudevi talked about it on Janmashtami, how when Mother Yashoda and all the Brajavasis, they weren't allowed to go and see Krishna's, where was it, in
Dwarka. They were doing,
is it Dwarka or?
They were doing his birth ceremony because Vasudeva never was able to
They were
do
doing
it.
some sanskar, and they invited everyone in the entire universe, except they specifically had an anti-invite for the Brajavasis. Means they were allowed to, they were informed that they should invite everyone. They were going to do a re-sanskar. A sanskar is an impression. There are many different sanskars which one should have in this life. And if they follow it properly, then one can be considered even a Brahmin. If they don't follow those sanskars properly, then they've broken that Brahminical rite in essence, and they can no longer be considered Brahmin. So, not just for Brahmin, but for all different levels of society, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, sanskars are necessary. So there's a sanskar, or an impression, which is given before even calling a jiva to enter into the womb, before impregnation. And that is called Garbhodan Sanskar. And those who did not receive those sanskars are called Varnashankara. And that's the reason why Krishna had to arrange for the Mahabharata war to be fought, because it was population that was unwanted and untrained without any inclination toward dharma or duty or righteousness. So it creates havoc in the world as we see today. So all of these impressions are there because Vasudeva and Devaki could not do the sanskar properly upon Krishna's arrival, means his birth sanskar, so there's also a birth sanskar. At that time, Krishna was already in Vrindavan, so they did the big ceremony, the big festival, Nandotsav, upon Krishna's birth in Vrindavan. So then when Krishna went to Dwarka, afterward, was it Mathura? Mathura.
This was in Dwarka, the one you're talking about.
Okay, the one I'm talking about was in Dwarka. So at that time, they wanted to redo this sanskar because they wanted to rid Krishna of all previous impressions. In the same way that when we receive Diksha, our mantras from Sri Guru, at that time we become, in essence, born again. A new birth. We no longer belong to this material world or any material family. We belong to Guru and the family of Krishna. Hence the name Achyuta Gotra. Means we are in the family lineage of Achyuta, or Krishna himself. That is the Gotra name. So I'm no longer a stone-hearted person like my family name entailed previously. Now I belong to Krishna. So this is what happens at the time of Diksha. So they wanted to give him a rebirth impression. At that time, everyone was invited except for the Brajavasis. But the Brajavasis were like, no, we're definitely going. But they were stopped. There were guards at the gates. They were being stopped from everywhere.
Arjuna and Bhima were in Vimanas.
Arjuna and Bhima were in Vimanas. Literally, flying airplanes. Vimana means controlled by the mind. And they were guarding, making sure no unauthorized persons came. And unauthorized were the Brajavasis. Because they wanted to break Krishna from his attachment to Vrindavan. So at that time, not being able to go inside Yashoda and others began to cry out the names of Krishna.
First they were pleading, then they were begging and crying, and then one friend of Yashoda said, call his name. And so she started to call Gopal, Kanaya, and then hearing the personal name.
Can you say it louder so everyone can hear?
Hearing the personal name, Krishna got up from the assembly and ran to the gate. Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj said there were only 5 minutes left for the yajna to be complete, and then it would be ruined if he wasn't there. But he didn't mind that. He got up and he ran to that place where the kirtan of his name and relation was going on. So Srila Bharati Maharaj said, how powerful is the kirtan of the Lord. All the pomp and majesty couldn't hold him, but this sweet kirtan of the Brajabasis made him run.
So this is why we should always do kirtan of the holy names of the Lord. One, it brings attachment in our heart for Him, but also will attract Him. His name is so beautiful, so sweet, so attractive, and invested with all of His transcendental potencies that He cannot help Himself but to run there. I was just thinking, when Mahaprabhu says, Nam Namakari Bahudani just Sarva Shakti, who is His Sarva Shakti? Srimati Radhika is present in those names also. So how can He not run there? So I was just remembering that as we were singing this Navanirada Nindita Kanti Dharam. Sudevi is requesting Anupama Madhuri Jori Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki.
364, I'm pretty sure. 364.
364. Can I play drum or not?
Sure.
Okay. I think it's too high. That's what I'm trying to figure
I
out.
can't hit it, don't worry.
No, it'll be too high for me.
Are you going to play the Madonna?
One more down. You go. Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. Rasi Rasa Bhari Akhya Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. being able to stream
Yeah, well,
or catch anything?
yeah, it just keeps shutting down because it's
Wow.
too full.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
So this is not working. It's too full.
Maybe I have to restart it. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktāya Tadbhaktāya Namo Namah Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Vishnupad Astottara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. And the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Vishnupad Astottara Shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And to all of our Rupanga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So, before continuing, going beyond Vaikuntha, two interesting subjects came up today, and I will try to address them quickly. One was about the difficulties which come up during Ekadashi. That for some people it becomes very difficult mentally, emotionally, and physically, to the point where they're just like, I can't do this. It's too much for me. It does a number on my head and I just want to give it up. And for some people, it actually has this kind of effect where the mind takes over, and it's not enough to say to someone, get off the mental platform, because it's not such an easy thing to get off the mental platform. We have been on the mental platform since time without beginning. It's called Manorathena, the chariot of the mind, dragging us this way and that way. Yes, I want. No, I don't want. Yes. Accepting and rejecting constantly. And because we're not yet pure, or we might not yet be pure, then when these kinds of things come up, like sacrificing something which is usually for my own enjoyment, for the benefit of Krishna, then I really feel it. Because for all of these millions and trillions of lifetimes, I've only experienced the momentum of this material world, what it's like to satisfy my own senses. And then when I try to stop that and instead try to satisfy the transcendental senses of Krishna, then I feel it. There's something which is unfamiliar. And maybe because I've only chased after what I like, I don't like to want to do what is pleasing to Krishna. As Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Maharaj said, why do we not like to love Krishna? Because we don't get any sense enjoyment from that. Serving Krishna or loving Krishna has nothing to do with our own sense enjoyment. We may receive some sense enjoyment from that, but that is not the purpose in the slightest. And so, because of this, because of its unfamiliarity to us, and because of the lack of personal sensory satisfaction which comes as a result, we might not like it. And so it will do some kind of, and it'll have some kind of effect on us which might feel unfavorable. In the process of Krishna Bhakti, it is recommended that we should do what is favorable for awakening that Krishna Bhakti and to avoid what is unfavorable. So like Srila Prabhupada said for the children, somehow or another we should make an impression that they want to like or love Krishna. Now there was some failure in that regard, but that was the intention that he wanted. That an impression should come that one will want to like or love Krishna. And so if we have, let's say, childlike minds and childlike senses, then it may be necessary at this point to fill that necessity with something. Still observing Ekadashi, but maybe a little bit more oil, olive oil, or ghee or whatever in that prasadam, so that one is not going completely mental.
Don't say mental.
Sorry. So that one is not on the mental platform, manoratena, that one does not become completely maddened by the idea of having to do austerity to the point that they reject it. In the beginning of spiritual life, it might be necessary to attract our senses with prasadam, with sweet music, with beautiful sights. The ruchi that we experience, or the taste that we experience, is usually for our own pleasure. But because it's related to the activities of bhakti, if we are under the guidance, why I'm calling it related, it externally is the activity of bhakti, but internally it's for my enjoyment. That's why I'm saying related to the activities of bhakti. It's similar. So that can be converted in the association of the pure devotees under whose guidance we should remain. To convert that selfish serving tendency toward the tendency to serve Krishna with those same activities that we're doing. So in the beginning we may be doing kirtan because we like it. I like the sound of it. I like the way the mridanga sounds, or the harmonium, the tunes, or anything like that, the way the Sanskrit rolls off the tongue. It has a nice feel. I like when all the devotees get together and they all sing, and oh, it's so pleasing to me. And how Thakurji looks, how beautiful they are, how much enjoyment I get upon seeing them. The enjoyment I get upon taking the Mahaprasad. You notice I'm mentioning the enjoyment that I'm receiving. So I'm enjoying these spiritual activities, and if that is my intent, then it can never be considered pure bhakti, because pure bhakti is only exclusively for the enjoyment, pleasure, satisfaction, happiness, and benefit of Krishna. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. It is only for Krishna's purpose. And as an automatic side effect, the natural gratification for us will come, but it won't be the intent. So in the beginning, it may be necessary for us, because we might not have attraction to the process. What aspect of the process can I take, can I hold on to, that will actually pull me close? Maybe I might need to dive into the pastimes of Krishna, as we've read in Krishna book. That will be attractive to me. Or some people need the jnanic, esoteric philosophies. Oh, it really pleases the mind. All these complicated ideas. The ideas of creation, and the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the section in Kapila talks about atoms and we say coagulation of atoms, what we call molecules, and all of these kinds of things, that they're the building things, and atomic time, and the universal expansion and contraction theories, and the black holes and whatever. You know, some people need that to attract their mind. Others are just like, it's the prasadam, the prasadam, the prasadam. And you see, even to this day, 40, 50 years after someone has joined, still they're pulled by that sense. I want to enjoy that prasadam. So there's so many different enjoyable aspects of bhakti. We must find something that catches us. something that catches us, that holds us. And then from there, that can be dovetailed. But if we don't have any attraction to anything, then this can be dangerous for us. So I recommended to my friend who was having a difficult time that maybe he needs to add a little bit more oil or starch to his Ekadashi diet, maybe some fried potatoes or something, so that his mind can be more grounded. It may be necessary that instead of thinking, oh my God, Ekadashi is coming up, no, I hate Ekadashi, then this would be a mood which is unfavorable for bhakti. Maybe we can look forward to Ekadashi. So I just wanted to share that as something, because not everyone is ready for the full rejection of all mundane things and full grabbing onto the Krishna bhakti aspect, because they have not yet attained to that state. If they just reject the negative, but they have not yet grabbed onto the positive, it can become quite a difficult situation. That is why it is recommended that one always remains in the association of devotees, so that the devotional mindset can gradually manifest in the heart. And then instead of seeing Ekadashi as, oh my God, Ekadashi is coming, oh no, potatoes and peanuts, we might be able to think, oh my God, Krishna is coming in such a beautiful way to give me an opportunity to increase my bhakti. So in the association of devotees, then one's mindset, one's heart can adjust, and they will actually look forward to Ekadashi, and even fasting and giving up those things which one is supposed to give up on Ekadashi for the pleasure of Krishna and for the increase of one's bhakti. In the association of devotees, these shifts in consciousness can change. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya Ar Na Kori Hom Mane Asha. Chitte Te Koriya Aikya. Chitta means consciousness. By the words emanating from the lotus mouth of my Gurudev, my consciousness will be purified. Ar Na Kori Hom Mane Asha. I have no desire or hope for anything else other than that. The words coming from the lotus mouth of my Gurudev. This is what will adjust or purify my consciousness. When the consciousness is gradually purified by the association of the pure devotees and endeavoring in the activities of bhakti under their guidance, then gradually purification will come. And what is proof of that purification? That the attraction for the mundane will be reduced and attraction for the spiritual will be increased. Right? Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayatashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is said that by rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, Bhakti Yoga, with love and devotion, devotional service I already mentioned, how will you know? There are some symptoms. Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahaitukam. So, natural, spontaneous affection, attachment for Krishna will manifest in the heart, by which the attraction or attachment for the material world and things of this material world will also diminish. Because when you have a higher taste, then the lower taste becomes insignificant, naturally. You've got something better, something positive. That better thing creates absorption. And that other thing which maybe we used to value, but has no value next to the higher taste, becomes valueless in comparison. But this is really vairagya. Vairagya means renunciation, but it actually means renunciation because of special attraction to the positive. This is real renunciation. False renunciation would mean that I'm putting it down, but I have not yet attained attraction there, then very easily I can go back to that thing. But if I've received the higher taste, then the lower taste will not attract me any further. And jnanam, cha, and so forth. Jnana means knowledge. So causeless knowledge. What does that mean? It actually means knowledge of my relationship with Krishna. This is real jnana. When we say Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya, Ajnana means ignorance and Gyan means knowledge or tattva. What is the truth? Who am I? Who is my beloved Lord? What is the nature of my relationship? How will my service be rendered? What is my real true nature? This is real Gyan or Bhakti Gyan. So when we say in this verse, Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam, that the path of bhakti is devoid of knowledge, jnana, and karma, activity, it doesn't mean transcendental knowledge or the activity, shubha karma, transcendental activities of bhakti. It means the activities which are aimed at some kind of reward-seeking activities, that I'm doing this for some material benefit. And the gyan which is referred to in that verse is also for some material benefit which is not in alignment with the nature of the soul to love and serve Krishna, but rather to either cease to feel individuality or to become one with the effulgence or the form of the Lord. So it's devoid of seva. So that gyan is rejected by devotees. But there is a transcendental gyan or knowledge, and that transcendental gyan or knowledge is knowledge of my relationship with Krishna. Who is my beloved Lord? What is my true nature in relation with Him? What is the nature and the flow of our love and affection? How will that affection take place? That is bhakti gyan. So causeless knowledge and detachment does not mean that there's no cause. There's a spiritual cause, but no material cause. And by the process of bhakti yoga, then you will understand and realize, or naturally, this will manifest. Your relationship with Krishna will awaken, by which detachment from mundane and material things will also be, attachment will be eradicated, because material attachment will be eradicated because spiritual attachment will be manifested. That's how I wanted to say it. So this was something that I just wanted to share in relation to that. It might be that we need to grab onto something at this point in time, but we should not remain at the same level forever. Our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaja, again and again would instruct us, you should progress on the path of bhakti. You should not remain stagnant in one place, and don't go backward. Try to progress, try to move forward. Always increase gradually your devotional sentiment. And this can only be done in the association of devotees, as by their association, the tendency to serve Krishna awakens more and more. That greed to please and serve Krishna increases more and more. As a creeper is growing, by nourishing it, so Mahaprabhu says, Shravana Kirtana Jale Koriye Sechan. How to nourish our Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotion in our heart, by hearing from the lips of the pure devotee, Shravana. And Kirtan, by always chanting the holy names and repeating what we have heard from those great personalities, those Vaishnavas. I just need to make sure that we're still on, because I don't know. So, the other subject, which was also of interest, was when Vaishnavas speak things which appear contrary or opposite to what our Srila Gurudev or our own Gurudev has spoken. And this can create a little bit of difficulty, or a lot of difficulty, in the life of a disciple. If you give the same preference or the same priority to this one and this one and this one and your own guru, and this one speaks something which either seems opposed to or unfavorable to your own guru, then it can create some doubt in the heart. And that doubt which comes toward one's own guru can be detrimental to one's own progress in spiritual life, because Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. Firm conviction in the lotus feet of one's Gurudev. Now, although we understand that Guru, Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru are one, we should understand what the function of Shiksha Guru is and why they're considered one. Because Shiksha Guru increases one's faith in one's Diksha Guru. If they fail to do so, according to Shastra, they are not considered your Shiksha Guru. Our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj had even more intense words to say about it. He said, what to speak of that, they're not even a Vaisnava. The function of the Vaishnavas or Shiksha is to increase one's faith in their Diksha Guru. Assuming the Diksha Guru is of that category. Unless there's a very good reason, an extremely good reason, like we have seen in the past with so many bogus personalities assuming the role of Guru, who were actually taking severe advantage of their followers and disciples in so many different paths. Then it's necessary to say something. But if there might be only some slight little frailty, so to speak, one should be careful not to damage the faith of any aspirant on the path of bhakti. That faith is our most valuable, treasured asset. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj speaks about this in Sri Guru and His Grace. How faith is so essential. And so we should try to avoid breaking anyone's faith unless it's actually extremely detrimental, that it's bringing them on the path toward hell. Then you'd be like, whoa, wait a second, this is not good for you, trust me, you're going down the wrong road, and here's all the proof. But one should still be careful how they do that. If you just leave them without any shelter, then that's also dangerous. Okay, now I can see that there's some comments here. All right. So, like our Srila Gurudev said, even if any other Mahabhagavat says something even slightly different from your Gurudev, if you do not reconcile it immediately, it will go in like a seed of doubt. And that seed will quickly grow into a big tree, and that tree will destroy everything. It means it will completely pulverize, smash that backbone. If you planted a tree inside your body and it grew big, your backbone would be completely destroyed. And if Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti, if that backbone is destroyed, then how can you progress on the path of devotion? So sometimes we see that any Vaishnava, like our Srila Prabhupada, warned his neophyte disciples to be careful for associating with so many who might not have a mood that was clearly favorable toward him. And that could actually be very detrimental for his disciples and their faith in him. So, Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sarma, the lotus feet of our spiritual master, they're the only way by which we can actually progress on the path of bhakti. Kevala Bhakti means the only way to attain that goal of bhakti or devotional service. So it is necessary to associate with those Vaishnavas who increase our faith in our Gurudev. And not only in name, because so many people can say Gurudev, 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 but are they representing the teachings and conceptions of one's Gurudev? Because if they're not, then this will create doubt and confusion. So many unauthorized changes come after the departure of Sri Guru. And then they're saying, but this is what Gurudev really meant. Oh, that's what Gurudev really meant. And then you're sitting back one day looking, going, oh my God, I don't even recognize my Gurudev in this. All of these little changes, one after another, after another, after another, until your Gurudev is no longer present within that. So it is essential that one holds very tightly to the lotus feet of their Gurudev, and when any mood which is antagonistic toward the teachings of Gurudev comes, Gurudev said we should not be wimps. We should not be weak. we should be very bold, like lions, and immediately we should smash those misconceptions with Shastra. Gurudev recommended this. This is what he did. When any opposition would come toward his own Gurudev, he would fight it, even if he had to argue with others, maybe even senior. But his Gurudev and his Guru Nishta, that's the backbone of bhakti. So this is essential for any disciple, especially if one's Gurudev is transcendental and pure. We should see what is favorable for the development of that conviction and then receive the association that increases the faith in those teachings, in those conceptions. And that is essential for any disciple. If we find that those persons that we are associating with are actually taking us away from the conceptions or the teachings of our Guru and bringing our hearts and attention more toward themselves, then this is not within the confines of the idea of Shiksha Guru. So we should be very vigilant to associate with those persons and those moods, those conceptions, those devotees who will increase our faith not only in our Gurudev as a person, but in the conceptions, the teachings, the moods that our Gurudev has presented. As a disciple, this is essential. So I just wanted to share that also because of some questions which came to me today, which kind of create some internal conflict, controversy, and doubt. Gurudev said one must reconcile it immediately, but if one is not able to reconcile, then better to do pranam and keep a distance. Yes, they're chanting Hare Krishna, they're doing all sorts of activities on the path of bhakti, but if it's making doubt come in my heart and they're not able to reconcile those doubts, then it's not favorable for my progress on the path of bhakti. So all of our Guru Varga have explained this point, all of our Shastras have explained this point, our Srila Gurudev especially explained these points very clearly on numerous occasions. I just want to see now if there are any... Oh, Balabhadra, Prabhu? Dandavat? Some devotees are asking me if it's okay to offer and drink tulsi tea, such as Paka tulsi tea and so on. Prabhupada said it was not okay, but there are not many references. Could you clarify this so I can pass on your answer to them? Radhe Radhe. We worship Tulsi as a pure devotee. Vrindaye, Tulasi Devyai, Priyaye, Keshavasya, Krishna Bhakti or Vishnu Bhakti, Prade Devi, Satya Bhaktyai Namo Nama. You are dear to Lord Krishna. So dear. And you can award or awaken Krishna Bhakti in our heart. You are a pure devotee of Krishna. Give me the adhikar, or the qualification for service to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Make me your own maidservant. So if we're looking at Tulsi Devi as a pure devotee, then how will we treat a pure devotee? One, a pure devotee's everything is only meant for the service of Krishna. So how do they make Paka Tulsi tea? When we buy it so that we can sprinkle that powder when we're not able to get fresh Tulsi leaves, when we're making an offering for Krishna. But how do they get it? Even when you go into the market in Loy Bazaar and you're getting flowers and Tulsi, you can see that they just grabbed the branches and ripped Tulsi Devi. So this is not within the confines of being careful about how one treats a pure devotee. And you know when they're doing these things en masse, making Paka Tulsi tea, that they're not being careful chanting any mantra with the intention, right? Om Tulasyam Rita Chanmasi Saratam Keshava Priya Keshavarte Vichinbami Varada Bhavashobhane. Chanting a mantra that I am taking you, please forgive me for causing some little pain, but this is for the pleasure of Krishna. So some mood should be there. But if you're just going through with a knife or just ripping the leaves off like this, as they will be doing for making Tulsi, Paka Tulsi tea as you asked, this is not how one should treat the pure devotee of Krishna. So unless you're actually going to offer that to Krishna, and it might be a good idea, every once in a while, get a box of pakatulsi tea, offer that to Krishna first, then maybe you could make tea from that. But definitely offer to Krishna, because so many thousands of tulsi plants, leaves are mixed in that and broken apart, and then we can offer that to Krishna. Then something, maybe her heart will melt toward you. Thank you for offering me to Krishna. But I personally would recommend against trying to enjoy that kind of tea, because, yeah, I mean, if you just see in terms of our relationship with our Gurudev and Vaishnavas, you're not going to treat them like that. You would treat them very, very carefully. Bando mui sadhana mate. With great care and attention, we will serve Sri Guru, we will serve the Vaishnavas very carefully and with a mood of awe and reverence. Sadhan means, in India, it means beware. So, but with great awe and reverence, we should serve and worship. So, I would recommend against. If you make tea, we are boiling her. Now, there are some considerations. Generally, in this form, Krishna cannot be eaten. You would break your teeth. But Krishna does manifest in another form, which is edible, and we call that Mahaprasad, or great mercy. So theoretically, you're not supposed to boil or cook tulsi. You're supposed to put fresh, washed tulsi on the offering or on Krishna's feet, but not to boil tulsi. It's not supposed to be, but when we were young, they would tell us, don't chew her. You should only swallow, and a lot of people were choking. So after being offered, she's in that form which can be chewable. As Mahaprasad is in the form that is chewable. Right? 4 kinds of preparations. Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasada Svadhana Triptam Hari Bhakta Sangam. Right? 1 is chewed, licked, drunk, and sucked. Different kinds of prasadam. So tulsi also manifests in that way. Can you have tea made of tulsi? Answer, no. May tulsi be made into tea after she's been offered? There you go. So, all right. So thank you, Balabhadra, for bringing that up. You can share that with your friends. My understanding, like Gurudev said, with any plant in Vrindavan, do not rip the leaves off, don't break the branches. They are doing intense austerities and witnessing Radha and Krishna's pastimes as they are going on now. So we should be very, very careful, even with any plant in Vrindavan. What to speak of Tulsi Devi? Anywhere she is, we understand that her base is non-different from Vrindavan. So we do parikrama, we circumambulate her. So we should treat her with great care, with great attention. There is a devotee named Namras and his wife Tulsi. They have a beautiful big Tulsi. You can see on Facebook. I think she's massive, massive. And they have so many caring tips, how to serve, how to water, how to look after her. And she's very, very beautiful, and she's being looked after so nicely. So we should treat her with love and affection, care, and pray to her for her mercy, that Krishna Bhakti may manifest in our heart. Or Vishnu Bhakti, meaning Krishna, Srimati Radhika and Krishna. So now we will continue going beyond Vaikuntha. This transcendental treasure is a manifestation of the heart of our Srila Gurudev, in terms of his commentary, full of bhav and ras, meaning rasik and bhavuk, and also Sri Sanatan Goswamipada from his Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, showing the journey of Gop Kumar from this world to his ultimate destination as a cowherd boy, friend of Krishna in Vrindavan. So before entering into this beautiful treasure, we will pray in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami to the author and the commentator. Vairaga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnar Apayana Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripambudirya Paraduka Duki Sanatana Swam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest within our hearts. So apparently yesterday we did not read. So I'm going to reread that verse. Srila Gurudev had spoken, and I actually didn't get to the questions from yesterday, so forgive me for that. So Srila Gurudev was speaking about how Sri Guru can detect what is in the heart of the disciple because he knows past, present, and future. According to Srimad Bhagavatam and Shastra, any great personality like Narada Muni can even be called Bhagavan. And they can be titled Bhagavan. And they're also known as Trikalagya. It means they are aware of or can know the three phases of time, past, present, and future. There is nothing that can be unknown to them if they want to know something. Sometimes there's a discussion about this particular subject of omniscience. I just lost my page, so I'm not omniscient. I don't even remember what page number it was, but I will find it. There it is. So sometimes there's a discussion about this, that Bhagavan, the Supreme Absolute Truth, is omniscient in that he knows every particle of all of his creation, and nothing, not even an electron, moves without his sanction, not even a blade of grass. Everything he is constantly aware of at every moment. And there's the omniscience of the pure devotee. So the omniscience of the pure devotee, some say they're not omniscient like the Lord. But if they want to know something, then they can know it. Also, Krishna is not omniscient in Vrindavan. He is, but he's not, because he becomes completely covered and forgetful. Mugdhata, he even forgets he's God and he's only running after the love of his devotees. But in other aspects, he is omniscient and all-knowing. Sri Guru also is like that. Why? Because he's completely 100% absorbed, 24 hours, kalam nayad, in remembering Krishna's name, form, quality, names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Tannama, rupa, charitadi, sukirtananu. His absorption is there. He does not want to think about or worry about or absorb his mind in all of the workings of the material world. Rather, the pure devotee sees their Ishtadev present in everything. Means their worshipful Lord everywhere. And they only see everything in terms of how it can be utilized in the service of their own beloved Lord. However, for the purpose of helping us fallen conditioned souls, the jivas of this world who are bound since time without beginning, that transcendental personality who only has the vision of love for Krishna takes the role of the Madhyam Adhikari Bhagavat, Madhyam Bhagavat Vaisnava, whose function it is to Prem, Maitri, Kripa and Upeksha. To be able to differentiate and discriminate for our benefit so that we can progress on the path of bhakti. So they have prem for the Lord, friendship, Maitri, for like-minded devotees, Kripa, they have mercy for those who are less fortunate or neophyte, like myself. They give mercy to those who need help. And Upeksha, they also manifest.
You give mercy to those who need help?
No. I hope you didn't understand that. I said they give mercy to those who are neophyte or less fortunate, like myself. Yes. Neophyte and less fortunate. Don't mistake me for saying something else. Neophyte and less fortunate. So I require the mercy of the Madhyam Bhagavats. And Upeksha, they practice also neglect of those who are aparadhis, those who are atheistic, those who are against the path of bhakti, who are against Krishna, who are mayavadi, like this. Those who are unfavorable association, they also neglect. This is the nature of the Madhyam Bhagavat. And why are they like this? So that they can help us. The Uttam Bhagavat, Srila Gurudev explained, they see that everything is perfectly serving Krishna, so nothing needs to be done. Everything is moving perfectly under Krishna's direction. So nothing needs to be done. It's all the way it needs to be, and it's all serving Krishna's purpose. But for us to be able to progress, then Krishna mercifully makes it so that that Uttam Bhagavat will step into the role of Madhyam, like a PhD professor, master's professor might step into a kindergarten class and teach that kindergarten class. He's still what he is, but he is taking a role to be able to help us. A is for apple, B is for ball, C is for cat, C-A-T, cat. So he's able to teach like that also to help us progress so that we can also come up to that level. This is the nature of the Madhyam Bhagavat Vaisnava. They discriminate for our benefit. And so in order to discriminate, they must be able to also know and see our past and our present. I don't know if anyone has sat in front of our Srila Gurudev when he's glancing around the room and then he catches your eyes with his eyes. It's almost too powerful to handle. You almost kind of start looking this way and that way. You want to stare him in the eye, but then you start averting your eyes, and you know he's able to read everything like an open book. I think it was Madhusudan Prabhu, who lives in England, in Bath. Gurudev, because he's an astrologer, Gurudev looked at his forehead. He looked at him and said, "On your forehead I can see 10,000 lifetimes." Of course, he can see more if he wants, but he has to be able to detect what is our frailty, what is keeping us back, what are the anarthas which are holding us back, how to get rid of those things which are detrimental, and how to increase our capacity to want to love and serve Krishna. So because of all of these reasons, Sri Guru must be able to detect and understand what's going on. And also they can see what will happen as a result in the future. So they are able to see the three phases of time according to what they want to see, and therefore they are known as Trikala Gya. We should not underestimate them. Srila Gurudev said that we should not think that Gurudev doesn't know. Don't think that he doesn't know. And he said, don't think that Gurudev only knows about the spiritual stuff. Gurudev explained that Sri Guru can see everything and knows all of it. Why? Chaitya Guru, Paramatma, Guru in the heart, who has been riding along with the Jiva since time without beginning and who never forgets anything. We forget, he doesn't forget. He's manifesting externally in the form of Diksha Guru and Shiksha Gurus. So he can see and he knows and has understood much, much more than we ourselves can know about ourselves. He knows all of the skeletons in our closets for millions of lifetimes. We might only know for one lifetime, or maybe two, if we have some kind of regression therapy. But he can see everything. Oh my God. Our Gurudev said, there is not one sin that we have not committed millions of times over in our sojourn through our material existence. Not one. Whatever sin that you can think of or see in anyone else, we have done that millions of times over. We have done everything that there is to be done. And again, we continue doing that thing. That's why Prahlad Maharaj said, Punak punash charvita charvananam. Again and again, chewing that thing that we have already chewed before. This is kind of like our condition in this material world. We're stuck in this loop, the broken record, just skipping, doing the same thing we've done before. So Srila Gurudev explained, as one devotee asked him, why can't we remember our previous lives? If we could just remember our previous lives, then we would know what we did wrong. Then we could just be focused and move forward on the path of bhakti. But even after receiving so many instructions and receiving knowledge from Sri Guru, still we don't follow. So what's the proof that we're going to do that? But he answered. He said, Krishna mercifully keeps that from you, because if you could even see 10 lifetimes, only 10 lifetimes of what karma is due to you, only 10, he said you would die of sheer fright. So Krishna mercifully covers you so that you can do bhajan with a somewhat peaceful heart. This is Krishna's compassion and mercy on us. If we could see even 10 lifetimes, how many sinful activities have we done just in this one lifetime? At every moment, we don't even know. So many. What about 10 lifetimes? What have we done? Why do we suffer so many of these ailments? Adhyatmic, adibautic, adidaivik miseries. It's karma from what we've done in the past. We have created miseries, now we are experiencing misery. We have given misery, now we're getting misery. This is the cycle, the endless cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death, action and reaction, karma. All of our scriptures speak about these things. So Krishna mercifully blocks that so that we can be in somewhat of a steady, somewhat balanced state of mind, so that we can actually make positive endeavor on the path of devotion. So now we're coming to our subject. Oh my God, I can't believe it's already that late. So Gurudev quotes from Brihad Bhagavatamrita 2.4.194. Vaikuntha vasino hyete kechid vai nitya parshada pare krishnasya kripaya sadhayat vemamagata. Some of the residents of Vaikuntha are nitya siddha and some are sadhana siddha. This is not a translation, Gurudev is giving his commentary. The nitya siddhas are the eternal associates. And the sadhana siddhas are those who come later, or who came later, who by the mercy of Bhagavan attain perfection by the practice of sadhana. In the service of all devotees, there is gradation. Some remain near to Bhagavan, serving him with chamara, while others are far away carrying out orders. For instance, Vasishtha Rishi is serving Ramachandra in Ayodhya, and his service is saying Mangalam Bhavatu and giving blessings. He gives advice for different things such as how to perform sacrifices and so on. Lakshman also performs different services for Ram. Once when Ram was away, Lakshman sat with Nishadaraj and sang the glories of Ram for the entire night. In great happiness, Nishadaraj experienced ecstatic symptoms of love. Day and night, Lakshman serves Ram and Hanuman also serves him. But when Sita serves him, then everyone else is sent outside, and they will all follow her order. In such services, there is always gradation. So Gurudev was speaking originally about Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha. Nitya Siddha means eternally perfect. There are those associates of the Lord who have always been there, always serving the Lord, who are still there and who will always be there serving the Lord. And then there are those who are called Sadhana Siddha, meaning they were in this material world or any material world, and maybe at one point bound. So there's Nitya Siddha and Nitya Badha, two different aspects mentioned. There's the liberated jivas and the bound jivas, the Nitya Badha. Nitya means since forever we have been bound, but through sadhana and through kripa, really sadhana means the attraction of mercy by which one can be elevated into the eternal service of the Lord. And through that process, one can be brought into the association and the service of the Lord. So those who were in the material world to go to the spiritual world, they are known as sadhana siddha or kripa siddha. And those who were always there, who never were bound in the material world, they are known as nitya siddha. Luckily, when one enters into Braj, they take their last birth from the womb of a gopi, and they're naturalized. So you don't hear of the nitya siddhas looking, going, oh my God, here comes another sadhana siddha. It's natural, spontaneous, and they're not judging, oh, look at the new one, like that. So, when trying to understand the reason for the gradation, one should not pass judgment by thinking, this service is the highest, and this service is lower. In Vaikuntha, all of the servants have their uniqueness. This reminds me of the pastime of Ram when he's building the bridge to Lanka. And at that time, Hanuman and all of the monkeys and bears, okay, monkeys, vanaras, were carrying massive mountains and stones from all over India, even as far as the Himalayas. Even Hanuman was bringing Govardhan from all over to make this bridge. And there was one small squirrel throwing little pebbles in. And Hanuman began to laugh. Hey, what are you doing? Can't you see that we're busy here? What is your little pebble going to do? We're throwing massive mountains in. But the squirrel was doing the best he could to try to serve Ram. What?
He said, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get in the way.
Yeah, Hanuman told him, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get in the way. What you're doing is not necessary here, so you should basically, move out of the way. So Ram saw this interaction, and then he spoke with Hanuman privately. And this is also something what we can learn. He could have chastised Hanuman publicly in front of everyone, but he took him to the side privately. And he said, this squirrel is serving to the best of his ability, according to his capacity. He's giving everything. You're capable of carrying even much bigger stones and mountains. So you're not giving everything, but he's giving everything. So you should not think that his service is not valuable. He's doing his best he can. And Hanuman realized, ooh, yes, this is a very valuable instruction. And we've also seen this with our own Gurudev. Once we gave him a donation of everything we had. I think it was something, it came to like 600 euros for the whole year. And we gave it to him, and we didn't have anything left afterward. And he just looked at us, and he practically had tears in his eyes, and he's like, so much. How will you maintain? You don't need to give me anything. You're already giving me everything, he said. You don't need to give me anything. And then someone else came and gave him like 10,000 pounds or something. And his mood was, what he said was, why late and why so little? And they understood. I spend this much in 2 days, 3 days. I could easily give him so much more. And he treated what I gave him like that. Because I only gave him such a little bit of what I normally enjoy. But you gave him everything, and he treated it like that. So Sri Ram was treating it like that. That this squirrel is giving everything, all of his energy, all of his intention. And you can give so much more. And so Sri Ram was so pleased with this squirrel, actually I think it was a chipmunk, that he began to pet him like this. And it is said that that's how that chipmunk got the 2 lines on his back, the white lines, because Sri Ram was petting his back like that with 2 fingers. So he got those 2 lines. So, in the gradation of service, I remember also when we were in New Braj, or at any festival, but especially there, I recall it very distinctly, that at the end of the festival, Srila Gurudev would be glorifying all of those who were serving in every capacity. Those who were putting on the dramas, those who were acting in the dramas, those who were cooking, those who were doing the artis, those who were doing the bhajans, those who were decorating and arranging and cleaning for the, preparing for the class, those who were cleaning up after prasadam, every service, those who were guarding the pool when the children were swimming in, it was every service, and he was giving acknowledgement to all of them. And then he came to the final, and what he considered the best service, which was the service that those who were cleaning the toilets were rendering. In Badger, they had all these portable toilets they would bring up because so many devotees were there. And there were some Prabhupada's disciples who were there cleaning those toilets. Chiranjeev Prabhu comes to mind, and there were a few other devotees who were helping him. So Srila Gurudev would give the most to that person who was cleaning the toilets. Why? He was giving the most acknowledgement. He said if they were in a state of disarray, if they were not clean, then everyone would be disturbed. They would not be able to do kirtan properly, they would not be able to serve properly, they would not be able to cook or do this or do that or anything. Everyone would be disturbed. So because of that service, everyone is able to peacefully do all of their other services. So he would say, my most mercy is going to that person who is cleaning the toilets. This was quite amazing to witness and to see that service which is considered the lowest. And a porta potty is not like a normal toilet. It's pretty gross, even after that area is cleaned. I mean, in India, even the cleaners don't want to clean the bathroom or the toilets. Even the ones you're paying, it's like too low for them. So those devotees who were making themselves in such a way that they were trying to please and serve all of the Vaishnavas so everything would go on smoothly, he was giving the most mercy to them. But there were gradations of service. Like our Gurudev told us when we were giving him massage, myself and Lalit, we were giving massage, and when Ashram Maharaj came in, that time Govinda Bhakata Prabhu, he tried to massage him. He said, what are you doing here? And he said, oh, I came to massage you. And Gurudev said, there are so many more important and valuable services you can be doing. You can preach. And then he looked at us and said, they need this. At that time, I realized that we needed some sukriti, some spiritual merit by massaging Gurudev, by which one day we might be able to please his inner heart's desire by sharing his mission and preaching his message. This was more dear to him than just receiving a physical massage. So when trying to understand the reason for gradation, one should not pass judgment by thinking that this service is higher or this service is lower. In Vaikuntha, all of the servants have their uniqueness. For example, cooking is being done there also. With great love, Ram's mother, Kaushalya, Lakshman's wife, Urmila, and Sita Devi are all cooking for Ram. Are they considered mere cooks? No. Cooking is also archan, so don't consider what is higher and lower in regard to seva. Every seva is important. That person who is cooking, their seva is important. That one who's cleaning, theirs is important. The one giving class, theirs is important. The ones listening to class, their seva is important. I remember in Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, how he was expressing such deep gratitude to all who came to listen to him. Why? He said, now my body is no longer capable of doing all of these other sevas that I used to do. The only seva I can do now is to speak, is to give Harikatha. And without you coming to hear, I would not have any seva to do. So he was looking at everyone who was sitting there as being responsible for him to be able to perform his seva. So he was extending so much gratitude to all of those devotees for giving him the opportunity for doing his seva by being listeners. To think, I am important and that someone else is just a cook, that mood is aparad. There is always gradation in service, but in all of it, there is prem. Maybe in one particular form of bhajan, there is more prem, and in another, there is less. But when you arrive in Vaikuntha, you'll find that everyone's service is extraordinary, and their prem is also extraordinary. We should understand this point. Therefore, there is no inferiority there, only gradation and speciality. In order for a society to run, every service is important, and everyone's position in that society, everyone's function is essential. If one is lacking, then everything else will be out of alignment. everything is necessary. Or in a machine, every part of that machine is necessary for it to function. As a car has so many parts, but each part serves a particular function. And as we all know, as we've all experienced, when one part goes out, like the starter, the rest doesn't function. Or the fan, or the oil, or gas, or whatever. Every part of it is essential. And it all works together to move nicely, to serve its function. So in the material world, the nature of things is that everyone is selfish and self-centered, and because we're not all working together to serve one point, then there's only chaos everywhere, and things generally tend to malfunction, including societies, as we're witnessing right now. Malfunction, all of this malfunctioning is due to any interest separate from the interest of Krishna. All of the malfunctioning of this material world. But in the transcendental realm, I'm going to quote Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaja again. He said, if you place a compass needle in one point, then you can draw thousands of circles from that one center, and there will not be any conflict between any of them. Everything will be harmonious, because it's all revolving around the one point. This is the nature of Vaikuntha, or Krishna Loka, in the spiritual world. Even Svapaksha and Vipaksha, opposite camps of gopis, or parental ras and Sakya ras, and one is holding Krishna back from going to here, but it's all there exclusively for Krishna's purpose to increase his transcendental ecstasy. So therefore everything, because he's the only center, is completely harmonious. Even though it might appear to be somewhat contradictory, still it's harmonious. In the material world, everyone's their own compass needle and they're putting it in different points. And so what you find is, if you draw thousands of circles or even one circle, it just creates conflict everywhere. The road to hell is paved with good intention, if we are selfish and self-centered. So if we place our love and affection at the root of the tree, which is Krishna, give your love and affection to Krishna, then automatically everything is in alignment. Or if you place your food in your mouth, chew it and swallow it, then automatically through digestion the entire body is nourished. So in the same way, if you give your love and affection to Krishna, then everything is in alignment. But if we are giving our love and affection to ourselves, what is meant for Krishna, but we're just turning it toward ourselves, this is called selfishness. In essence, we are short-circuiting ourselves. I'm not going to tell you how to short-circuit, but let's just say you burn out your electrical systems by doing that. So we've been short-circuiting ourselves in this material world since time without beginning. We need to take that, and instead of turning it toward ourselves, turn it toward Krishna. And if we really want to feel what they call self-love, real self-love is being in alignment with our nature. And what is our nature? Jivera Swarupahoy, Krishner Nitya Das. More than needing to drink water, more than needing to breathe air, more than the heart needing to pump so that blood flows through our body, more than requiring a brain to be able to choose what's good and what's not good for our progress in this body. More deep than any of that is our relationship with the friend, the best friend of our soul, our Atma Bandhu, and that is Krishna. Like Gurudev said, I am closer to you than the air you breathe. I am closer to you than the air you breathe. More essential than that, more essential than the air that we breathe, is our relationship with Guru. And Guru will take that and will engage that tendency, that love, that affection, and that desire in the service of Krishna, more close than anything else. All of this stuff, material things, subtle things, mind, intelligence, ego, earth, water, fire, air, ether, all of this body and all of the millions of previous lifetimes with all of the impressions of those lifetimes. It's all external, and it is all an artificial imposition upon the soul. By the grace of Sri Guru, all of that is removed, and what is left is our pure eternal love and affection for Krishna. So real self-love means to love the Supreme Self, that is Krishna. And by that, then we will also feel love. Yayatma suprasiddhati. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So I did read a little bit. It's very interesting subject matter. The NASA Challenger shuttle exploded due to malfunctioning little washers. About that. Amazing. Jai. Okay. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Really? Hare Gurudev ki jai. Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai. Radha Vinodi Hari Ju ki jai. Radha Ramana Ju ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Harinama Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hidai Gaur Premanande Hari. Your sisters there.
Nilavang.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Shyam Gaur Premanande.
Hello, Bang.
Radhe Radhe. So thank you all very much for being with us today and for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and for engaging us in this seva, which is no more important than any of your sevas. But thank you so much for assisting us in engaging in our seva, which Srila Gurudev has directed us to do. We are indebted to all of you for that. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna, Radhe
Radhe Radhe.
Shri Radha Vinodi Hari Ju ki jai. Sachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.